Hello everybody, welcome to almost spring. We're going to power up perennials today. I'm going to show you how to take any bed of perennials, whether it's bushes, bulbs, berries, fruit trees, anything that's a perennial, and as soon as spring hits, I'll show you what to do so that that bed is going to be ready for the rest of the season. Here we go.
I'm Stace. For me, healthy food and sustainability are totally connected. You can grow it yourself. Nature is generous.
Now, as you guys likely know, I'm totally nuts for permaculture in an approach where you combine all sorts of things that are great habitat for pollinators, lots of food and herbs together, so that with a mix of much biodiversity, you have an incredibly rich ecosystem on your property, and you do it in such a way that there's no weeding, really simple management of weeds and pests by basically dialing it all in on an annual basis. Do it right, do it once, and let it grow. Now, in this little food forest that I've created around our backyard pond, there's some wild trees, there's some fruit trees, there's some berries, there's lots of herbs, there's things like comfrey and rhubarb, and there's just some beautiful flowers as well. Many of the plants that are in this food forest basically are invisible coming into winter and spring. You can't see them at all. An example would be comfrey or rhubarb. So the critical first step going into the dormant season is to know where all your plants are and to mark them. Little flag, little stick, some way that you know where every one of your plants are. I've got more than 100 plants spread out in this crescent-shaped area beside my pond, and many of them right now are not visible. There's just root systems underground. When they are marked going into the dormant season, you can jump into all the next steps that I'm going to show you very simply and easily. So that's the first thing to be aware of going into dormant season. You can see if you look behind me that I'm kind of moving through my permy garden here in springtime from the far end towards where the camera is. And what I'm doing is I'm going location to location where every single plant is, and presuming it's either marked because in dormant season it's invisible but there's a little stick or a flag there, or I can see some buds. I've got things like crocuses and daffodils and rhubarb off on my right. I've got comfrey in the foreground and a kiwi tree here. Then there's a maple tree, there's French sorrel, there's some other herbs, a bay leaf plant, a currant, an apple tree. I've got some autumn joy here and some Egyptian walking onions. The beautiful thing to do in spring as things are getting going is when it's still kind of cool and damp and moist where I live, I get out there with a shovel first of all, and I divide up every plant that I want to multiply or replicate. This is such a good time to share with neighbors and friends or to diversify your plantings. If you've got a nice big rhubarb, a nice big autumn joy, a great big comfrey, any bush that you can propagate cuttings from, this is the time when transplanting works really well. So the first thing I did is I went through this whole little permy garden with my shovel a few days ago, and I divided up all my plants that I thought were big enough to justify being split and divided so that it's going to be more densely planted all through this area. I love this cool little willow tree. I got it about 5 years ago from a clearance center at a grocery store, and the first couple of years I thought it was going to die, but it's on the low side of our property, and when our pond overflows in winter from the winter rains that are all converging in it, this willow is right in the traffic flow of the water that overflows out of the pond, and it is loving being in the moisture. So I've been taking some cuttings from it and using the branches cut up into buckets of water as a root stimulus, because there's root growing hormone that comes off of willow branches, and I'm using that on my transplants and the cuttings that I've been propagating on the property. So I'm surrounded here by a whole bunch of food. We've noted already, mark your plants coming into the dormant season, split and divide things in spring so that you can diversify and duplicate your plantings. And then the next thing that I would do in my permy garden I'd go to each plant, as I have on the west coast where things kind of acidify over the winter. I've given every plant a handful of lime, and I've given every plant a shovelful of my homemade compost manure mix. And now that they've all got lime and a compost manure mix, I'm ready to protect them for the whole season. At that point, it's really simple. Down between every plant, I put cardboard and I put coffee sacks that just the plant that I want to grow is there, which means, if you listen carefully, there was no mention of weeding. I'm not doing any weeding, and that, folks, is the most beautiful part about optimizing your permy food forest, is if you get the pH right in your soil and you nourish every plant, you get down cardboard and coffee sacks, you're ready to mulch on top of that with free mulch, and at that point, bang, you're weed free, your moisture is retained, and you can just set up drip irrigation and you're good to go for the entire year. So that's a great next step, and I'll just show you what I mean. There's the dog in the foreground. Let's just show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so what you see here, guys, is the area where I've been working already. All these areas I've duplicated or divided up plants that I wanted. I've got them moved out where they are. The south is to my right, so that's always where my shortest plants go. This is my north, so my taller, bushier plants or trees go on this side. And now what you can see probably pretty easily is that around each plant I've put down cardboard, usually a double layer of cardboard and then a double layer of coffee sack. So we've got compostable material that have no negative or harmful ingredients in them, that hold in the moisture, that suppress the weeds. And then in amongst here I've got rhubarb, I've got comfrey, I've got tulips, I've got chives, I've got daisies and mint, a rosemary bush, and a quince tree is in the foreground to the camera. And all of this now is basically only exposed to the air and the sunlight where the plant that I want to grow is growing. And all through here, again, just to reiterate, is cardboard laid down with coffee sacks all around everything. And so with the cardboard and the coffee sacks laid down, I can put my drip irrigation on top of all this. And the mulch will be going on this, of course, later on. And with the mulch on top, it looks beautiful. Soil's being created. The bugs are super happy, growing and living underneath and going everywhere, not getting picked off by the birds. And you do this in the spring when it's moist and wet and everything settles in. It holds tight. I can have a windy day now. It's been rained on, these coffee sacks. They won't blow away while I wait for my delivery of mulch from a friend who runs a tree service company. I get all that bark and mulch for free. He backs the truck up, and in an afternoon I cover this all with wheelbarrows of mulch, couple inches, maybe even up to 10 centimeters on top. And basically you've got a pest-free, weed-free, moisture-proof area with all this multi-diverse planting. Is that not gorgeous? So all we're doing now to wrap up the situation as a recap, we've marked in the dormant season where all the plants are so we know where they are in spring. As spring comes on, we divide and duplicate, spread them around in the garden. Then we put some nourishment down with lime and a compost manure mixture, which I just have easily accessible to me. Then a cardboard and a coffee sack layering. And the last beautiful thing is the layer of bark chips. And once we got those down, go for it there, buddy. Just pound them out. And as we get the bark chips down, and maybe just back up as you dump a little bit more. Isn't that nice? You get the bark chips on then around the plants. You don't see the sacks, you don't see the cardboard. You just have the plants that are visible and everything starts to grow from there. That holds in the moisture. You got a nice thick layer. And that's really all there is to it. And if you need to, or you have the availability rather, to dial in some drip irrigation, which will be another video, then you really can look after this year round with no more maintenance than what I've shown you in this brief video. Is that not awesome? We've done what we needed to do. Total victory. Some of the newer plants might need water once a week in the warmer months, and aside from that, all I'm going to do with this bed for the next year is enjoy it. There's lots for the bees, the pollinators, and for our family to enjoy in the kitchen garden. So thanks for watching along while we did this. Another hopeful, helpful, healthy project. There's a lot of other resources on this channel about setting up and getting rolling with your original food forest, so I hope you'll find some of those resources and enjoy them and share them out. And if you guys have been watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, share along more of these helpful tips that are hopeful, helpful, and healthy to others. Thanks a lot. Till next time. Would you like to grow your own organic veg, but you don't know where to start? I've made all the mistakes already for you. Let me help you along the way to move into confidently growing your own organic veggies. I call myself Sustainable Stace. I've got this awesome year-long class done on video in my own garden to grow people into great gardeners. It's called getbackyardabundance.com. Check it out on the link below. I'll see you on the inside and help you grow your own garden right through an entire year. Getbackyardabundance.com.